Welcome to Him Hour on Him TV by your darling brother Olawi Gabriel. It is time to admonish, teach, encourage one another in Him according to Ephesians chapter 5 verse 19 and Colossians chapter 3 verse 16. It is time to inspire, encourage, and to stir up one another through the songs of psalm and hymn. As you stay connected, the Lord bless you. The hymn I'll be talking about today is a hymn of salvation, hymn of redemption, hymn of forgiveness, and hymn of hope. The hymn titled Amazing Grace. Amazing grace, how sweet that sound. The safe are wretched like me. I was once lost, but now I am found. I was blind, but now I see. Those are the words of the first stanza of the hymn. Wow, the grace of God is so amazing. The hymn Amazing Grace was written in 1772 by John Newton, an Anglican clergyman and English poet. John Newton was born on July 24, 1725 in London. John Newton is the only child of his parents. But John Newton's father is not always at home. He is a sailor that is always on the sea. But Newton is fortunate to have a Christian mother who teach him the way of the law. He raised Newton in a Christian way, read Bible to Newton, pray for Newton, and also prayed that Newton will one day become a minister of God. Newton's mother died when Newton was almost 7 of tuberculosis. Like his father, Newton was also a sailor who spent his early year on African coast, searching for slave to capture and slave to sell for profit. Before Newton's salvation experience, through which he encountered the Lord and was ordained as a minister of God and also become an abortionist, Newton was a captain of slave ship, invested in slave industry, and was a slave owner. On March 21, 1748, Newton had an horrible experience. What happened? A fierce storm overtook the ship, which almost swamped it. Men, animals, provisions were swept overboard. At this point, Newton prayed for the first time in many years because he has forgotten everything his mother taught him. Newton even blasphemed Christianity. He blasphemed God. Newton feared he was going to die, and if Christian faith were true, then Newton is sure he will not be forgiven. At this point, Newton reflects upon his life. He reflects upon everything he has done in the past, including the way he has mocked the historical fact of the gospel. All this disturbed Newton. Thanks to God, after 4 days, the storm abated. The beeswax in the ship helps to keep the boat afloat. Newton sees this as a God providence, so he attributed the deliverance to God. Then from there, Newton began to read the Bible. He started reading the New Testament and with keen interest in the book of Luke chapter 15. Newton observed a remarkable parallel between his life and that of the prodigal son. Newton continued to read the Bible. The ship drifted for a month. Provisions were running out. The captain blamed Newton's blasphemy for the problem, and they were even considering throwing Newton. They want to throw him over the board like Jonah. You remember Jonah in the Bible, who was thrown into the sea and was swallowed up by fish before they experienced peace, before their own storm also stopped. So they were thinking of doing the same thing to Newton. The crippled ship finally made its way to the northern island just in time before another great wind began to blow. Wow. Newton acknowledged that God had answered his prayer. I told you Newton prayed. Though Newton continued in his profession of sailing and slave trading for a time, he has not stopped. Newton abandoned his life as a slave trader in 1754 when he was violently ill on a sea voyage. He became sick again after the encounter of March. After the first encounter where he prayed. But this time around, Newton need to abandon his life and abandon the life of slave trading. Then he wholeheartedly devoted his life to God and to his services. Newton left slave trading and took the job of a tide surveyor in Liverpool. But he began to think he had been called to the ministry, because this time around Newton has given himself to the study of the word and he is praying continually, so devoted and committed to God. Oh, Newton's mother's prayer has been answered. God has answered Elizabeth Newton's prayer that Newton will one day become a minister of God. Newton was ordained as Anglican priest in 1764. In 1772, John Newton penned down Amazing Grace as a poem which later turns to hymn and was published in 1779. Reflecting upon his life, Newton penned down the hymn Amazing Grace, first as a poem, before he turned it to hymn. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound, that saved a wretched like me. I was once lost, but now I am found. Was blind, but now I see. My brother, my sister, God's grace and mercy is always available to the worst and terrible sinners. It doesn't matter how far you have gone into sin and how complex and terrible you are. God's amazing grace and mercy can transform your life. Like John Newton, you may be lost in sin and blind to the work of salvation. My brother and sister, the work of salvation Christ has done for you is still available. If you will come to him today, if you open the door of your heart, God will change you from wretchedness to a prosperous man. When I say prosperous man, prosperous in the spirit. Even it can make you prosperous physically. Amazing grace. How sweet the sound. Newton eventually died in December 21, 1807 in London at the age of 82. But before Newton died, what he was doing, what things he support, what he celebrated, he make sure is stopped. He become an abortionist. Newton was the mentee. He mentored William Wilberforce, a parliament member who raised the bill for the abortion of slave trade in Africa. Newton's make sure he support this. And in that 1807, that was when the bill was signed into law for the abortion of slave trading. You can also turn back what you have been doing before. You can also come to Christ as Newton turned a new leaf. He pressed the reset button and he started afresh with Christ. You can also start afresh today. You can also comment your favorite hymn. The next one you want me to talk about, tell me where you are watching from or listening from, and I will make sure I speak on your favorite hymn. Thank you so much. Till I come your way, I am the hymn anchor on the Hymn TV, Olawuyi Gabriel. God bless you. Sing spiritual hymn, be inspired, be connected to heaven.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost. God's grace.